Hello YouTube. This video is talking about my personal experience with the stroke that I had during pregnancy. I don't think I've seen any videos on YouTube pertaining to a person's personal experience with this. Apparently, stroke during pregnancy is increasing, and when you're pregnant and also postpartum, 6 weeks postpartum, the risk of stroke does go up. There's multiple reasons for this. One of them being high blood pressure, of course. Another one being that your blood naturally clots more to prepare for the delivery of the baby and so that you don't lose too much blood, and hormonal changes as well. So with me, I have not really gotten a definitive reason as to why I had the stroke, but they believe that I have a hole in my heart called a PFO. It's a birth defect. There's a lot of information out there on the web about it, but basically when you're in utero, your heart, the left side and the right side, are open so that blood can flow back and forth. And by the time you're born, it should be closed up. But in about 1 out of 4 people, it does not close up. Okay, now everybody doesn't have issues with this, but if you do, you can have a stroke. And there's other things as well, but I just really know about the stroke factor in that. So they're not going to know for sure if I have a hole until after the baby is born, and then they're going to put a scope down my throat, I guess, and with a camera, and they're going to look at my heart to verify if there's a hole, and then we'll talk about closing it up. So I'm going to talk about the precursors that I experienced before this happened, and that I now know were warning signs. I had some kind of idea prior to the stroke, but I didn't know for sure. Okay, and so I'll talk a little bit about the recovery as well. So for probably the past, 14 years, my oldest child is 14. I believe the symptoms started before I became pregnant. I had started getting migraines with aura. Okay, so before I had looked up on the internet about migraines with aura, and there was just very little information possibly linking it to stroke. But now, apparently, there's more information because I'm finding it on the internet now. But anyway, I would get these migraines, and then I would have these auras where my vision would go. And I had thought that they had gone away after I had my first child. They seemed to have subsided a lot. But then they began coming back and coming back. Now, I did drink alcohol heavily at times, and I believe that was related. But anyhow, so sure enough, they came back, and they started getting worse. I started getting these migraines, and I would feel like I was going to pass out. I would get really dizzy and feel like I was going to pass out. And it was really scary because, I'm not used to being ill. But this was just something that I could not control. In the beginning, when I would have the migraines, I would lay down and relax, and it would really help. But as time went by, it didn't help anymore. And I would just get so dizzy, and I would just have to sit down. I'd be so scared and not know what to do. Okay? So this went on for years and years and years. Okay, well, last summer, I was working out hard. I was lifting weights. I was exercising, frequently. I was dieting, eating good foods, and I had lost a lot of weight. My body was shaping up. I felt really good. I didn't really have migraines anymore. So I felt somewhat cured. Well, fast forward to the day that my stroke actually occurred. This is what happened. I was in the bed with my significant other, and we were kind of, roughhousing and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I just got really dizzy. And I was laying down. I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And so I just laid down on my pillow, and I looked at the TV, and it wouldn't shake. I was just feeling more and more dizzy. And so then I remember I had to pee really, really bad. And so I was trying to get up and go to the restroom. I could not get up. And so I was embarrassed, but I peed in the bed, because I couldn't get up, but I had to pee so bad I couldn't hold it anymore. So then, my significant other came back in the room, and I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell him, that I had peed in the bed, but of course he saw it. And so he told me that I was like drooling out of the side of my mouth and I couldn't really talk. And so I was like, just help me up. I need to go to the bathroom. So he tried to help me up. I couldn't get up. And so somehow I scooted myself onto the floor, and I was just like pushing so hard with all of my might, trying to get off of the floor. And it was like slippery, because my clothes were wet, and I thought, well, it's just slippery and I just feel heavy, I can't get up. I'm just heavy. I need to try harder. So I tried and tried and tried to get up. Could not do it. So my significant other, he says, I'm calling 911. And I said, no, don't call 911. That's stupid. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. He was like, you can't move. You need to go to the hospital. And I tried and tried to convince him, do not call 911. Do not call 911. I'm just fine. I said something to him like, they're going to charge you. They're going to charge you for calling them, and nothing's wrong with me. So I tried and tried to convince him just to leave me be. Thank God he didn't listen to me. And he called the paramedics. They were here very, very quickly. And when they got here, I was telling them also, I was like, I'm fine. Just leave me be. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay. I'm just heavy. I just can't get up. So, they obviously knew something was wrong. They kept asking me, what have you taken? What have you taken? I'm like, I don't do drugs. I haven't taken anything. And so he said, well, it looks like you had a stroke. And I'm like, no, I've not had a stroke. There's no way that I had a stroke. Like, I was convinced that I was perfectly fine. I don't know what I thought was going on, but I was just convinced in my mind that I was perfectly fine and that all I needed to do was to try harder and I could get up. Well, again, thank God they didn't listen to me. So, they carried me out to the ambulance and they gave me the TPA, the blood clot buster. And they were telling my significant other, they were like, man, we really just thank you for calling us because, this is a massive stroke. And I just, at that time, I couldn't believe it. I was just like shocked. I could not believe that I had just had a stroke. I don't know what I thought a stroke would be like, but I just could not believe that I had actually had a stroke. So ended up, the stroke affected all this top of my right side of the head and some of the back. Okay. So that's why I couldn't get up because my left side was paralyzed. And like I said, I was drooling out of the side of my mouth. Okay. So it was really scary, in the ambulance I got sick, nauseous and throwing up and stuff. But thank God they gave me that TPA before it was too late. Because I'm going to tell you, I was walking within 2 days. I could talk. I could think. Still my left arm, that's my main issue now. It's like my grip. But still, I can move my arm. I can pick things up, I can do a lot of stuff. I'm very, very thankful that they gave me that TPA shot. And this is why they say every second matters during a stroke. Like, you have to make sure and get treatment immediately. And you cannot let the stroke victim convince you not to call the paramedics. Apparently, that's somewhat of a common thing. So, anyway, I'm very, very glad that nobody listened to me. So funny that I just thought that I was perfectly fine. So, I was admitted in the hospital just about, 2 weeks before Christmas. So, I had to spend maybe 4 or 5 days in intensive care. And I improved so much. I'm just so, so thankful. I improved so much. And so then I was moved to an inpatient rehab, and I spent 2 weeks in there. And finally, I was released. They were trying to keep me a little longer, and I was like, I really feel good. I really want to get out of here before New Year's. Thank God I got out of there before New Year's. Came home. So it was really scary. I was fortunate that my significant other was there for me every single day. He was there spending the night with me. It was a bad feeling to be in that place and not be able to control what I was doing, where I was going. It was not fun. Now I'm 37 years old, pretty young to have a stroke. And like I said, they didn't really give me a definitive reason. I'm still going to see the hematologist, the neurologist, therapist. I'm in high risk maternal fetal medicine clinic. So they don't know exactly why I had the stroke yet. But like I said, when I have the baby, they're going to put a scope down my throat and look at my heart and make sure there's a hole. And then they close it with this little screen, which is another scary thing to me because I never wanted to have any type of surgery, even though this is just, I believe, local anesthetic. So I'm kind of scared of general anesthetic. But at that point, when I went in the hospital, I just trusted anything they said. Generally, I'm a very natural, holistic type of person. I like to, let food be my medicine, that kind of thing. But when that situation happens, you just do what they tell you, because I was thankful that they had the medicine to save my life. Now, this is my 6th pregnancy. I have 5 children, never had any kind of issues like this before. Always had a healthy pregnancy, natural birth, all of that. So it was very odd to me that I would have a stroke at this stage. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older, but my youngest is just 3, so that wasn't that long ago. Now, I was smoking cigarettes before I became pregnant, and I was about 4 weeks pregnant when I did have the stroke. Now, I was quitting. I had quit for about a week when the stroke happened. So, of course, cigarettes do increase your risk for stroke. Duh, you know. But anyhow, came through it, got through it. And so now I'm in therapy twice a week for my hand. Maybe I'll upload some videos of some of the therapy that I do with my hand. Because again, it has improved so much. When I first started therapy, I couldn't even lift my arm, and now I can go all the way back. Okay. I've been in therapy for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months now. So I was really a fortunate case. And again, it's because they got to me quickly, is what I believe. I don't know how much it had to do with my exercise and diet regimen the previous summer. Maybe that helped, because I was building up my body, so maybe that helped me recover a bit. I'm not sure. But very, very thankful that I came through it as well as I did. So now I'm making an effort to transition into more of a raw food diet, which I've done before, and it was really miraculous in the way that it made me feel and the energy levels that I had. So I want to transition into that now and see if it's going to help my hand to move fast, to heal faster. So I don't know what else information that I can give. I do remember that I read that 1 in 5 women will have a stroke. That's a lot. A lot of women are not aware of this risk. And if you're an older woman, I don't mean older, but I mean, if you're in your 30s and pregnant, then, definitely you should consider this as a possible risk. I never would have thought about it. I mean, I had no idea that pregnancy increased stroke risk, but it does. So it's just always better to be informed. The doctors did tell me that I should probably not have any more children. Well, this is my 6th, so I don't think I'll be having any more. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about my experience. I know some people have been through this, maybe trying to look and see what's out there for information. It was a difficult time. It's still very difficult. Now it's been December, January, February, March, April, March. It's been 3 months since I've had my stroke. And there are difficult days. Dealt with a lot of depression, a lot of frustration, stress. I barely could get myself dressed. I can get myself dressed now, but in the beginning, I couldn't do anything. Again, I was thankful to have somebody here with me that would really, really help me. But it's a difficult time. And, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not going to get into that, but I'll just say that it's been a difficult time. And if you have good health, man, you got to embrace it, cherish it, do everything you can to be healthier. And now that I've gotten through it, I see this. I feel this. I'm like I said, I'm transitioning into the raw foods. I really want to see if this helps my hand heal quicker. I believe it may. And as soon as I can, I want to get back in the gym and lift weights. Probably shouldn't push too hard right now being pregnant, but very, very soon I'm going to transition into that. Good health is a must. When you go through an experience like that, you realize you want to live to see tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, hope it helped. Thank you.